an end-time messenger mentioned in all God's scriptures. Of all God's previous scriptures, only the final scripture stands out, as it gives the exact date and time of the comet impact, just as the splitting of the moon does. The impact of comets is tied to the age of this end-time messenger, which is a tradition from God unknown to most of the Arabs today, but well known among the first ones who lied about it. I am talking about chapter 105. They knew it was not Muhammad, yet they deliberately attributed it to him generations after his death. But little did they know that this Quran is not like their Hadith books. This is a mathematically structured book from God, beyond human capability, which stands as clear proof for this generation, as mathematics is the prime discipline where reason prevails and lies collapse. Let's check whom God is speaking to. This is the 105th chapter of the Quran, titled The Elephant, having 5 verses, 96 Arabic letters and 23 words, and a total abjad of 5470. Let's check the first verse. Have you not seen how your Lord dealt with the companions of the elephant? This is the abjad of Muhammad, and this is the abjad of my name. If you add the abjad of Muhammad to the abjad of the first verse of this chapter, you will not get a multiple of 19. But if you add it to the abjad of my name, gives 1824, which is 19 times 96. This chapter is the 19th revelation of the Quran, and it has 96 Arabic letters in it. Certainly this is an encrypted message from God, and only the messenger whom he chose can decrypt it. And all of this have been inscribed in the al-Kitab, the source of the book, by God since the beginning. Now this is the focal point of calculation. As God ends this age by sending this messenger, this 103rd chapter, the age, serves as the focal point of calculation. This chapter has 3 verses. If you count the total of verses from this chapter up until verse 3 of the 105th chapter, where the swarm of birds is mentioned, you get 14. And the total count of verses after the verse mentioning the elephant to the end of the Quran is 47. If you concatenate these 2 numbers, you get 1447, which is in Hijri corresponds to 2025 CE in the Gregorian calendar. And also the total count of verses from chapter 54, the moon, up until this chapter 105 is 1342. If you subtract these numbers, you get 105, which is the assigned chapter number of the elephant. This mathematical alignment provides a strong indication that the past sign of the splitting of the moon is connected to this event. The placement of these chapters is also a sign. The chapter El-Fil is the second chapter after El-Asr, and after El-Fil to the second chapter is El-Din, the religion. You see this chapter titled as El-Ma'un, but they changed the title of the chapter. And my first name in Arabic means 2 letters, which is the dual form of the trilateral root harf. Now this is the date and time of the impact. I was born in the year 1995, which is 19 times 105. And you know 105 is the assigned chapter number of the elephant. And 19 is the 8th prime number in mathematics. And I was born in the 8th month of Hijri calendar. The digital sum or the cross sum of the total words in the 4 remaining verses of this chapter is 7. And the digital sum or the cross sum of the total abjad in the 4 remaining verses of this chapter is 10. Now we have decrypted all of this. Concluding this on the 10th day of the 7th month of the lunar year 1447 AH, the swarm of birds will strike the earth from all sides, destroying the wicked. This is happening on my 30th birthday. If you look back through history, the same tradition was repeated for God's messengers around their age of 30. Such is the tradition of those we had sent before you of our messengers. And you will not find an alteration to our tradition. Quran chapter 17 verse 77. Remember, 30 is the 19th composite number, and there are 30 unique numbers mentioned in the Quran. The date and the time of the comet strike were set by God, and He has made me the key to this event. This is how the time is verified. Past sign from God, splitting of the moon, lunar year 1389 AH, time 54 minutes 1 second Eastern Daylight Time. And if you add this lunar year and the time, you get 1444, which is 19 times 76. And this multiplication factor is 76. This is the 54th composite number in mathematics, and the splitting of the moon is mentioned in chapter 54. Now this is the incoming impact of comets, the swarm of birds. Lunar year 1447 AH, time 11:43 PM, India Standard Time. If we add this lunar year and the time, you get a multiple of 19. 19 times 79. And the difference between the factors are 3. I am the third person in this timeline. I was born on December 30, 1995 at 11:42 pm India Standard Time. This is happening on December 30, 2025 at 11:43 pm, 1 minute after my birthday's time. So do not think that God will break his promise to his messengers. Indeed, God is mighty with vengeance. Now you see this chapter and the verse number. This is same as 2025 because 1447 in Hijri corresponds to 2025 CE in the Gregorian calendar. If we add the date and the time of both these events and the chapter number where it mentioned with the abjad of this verse gives a multiple of 19, and the difference between their total is 114. There are 114 chapters in the Quran, which is equal to the 114 energy vortices or chakras, and the difference between their multiplication factor is 6. There are 6 verses in the last chapter of the Quran, and 6 multiplied by 19 is 114. These are clear mathematical proofs, not anybody's opinion.